In the bottom right, we have information about the selected map, which is usually in English if you're lucky. Otherwise, it's in German devil language. Yuck. In the bottom left quadrant, we can change the date and time. Changing the time, well, changes the time. The game runs in real time, so 60 minutes in game equals 60 minutes in real life. Changing the date, however, is where the fun begins. You see, the game takes place during a pivotal moment in Germany's history, and not the one I know you all are thinking about. The Berlin Wall, constructed during the Cold War, fell on November 9th, 1989, and that is accurately reflected in-game. The fall of the wall influences the game not only visually, but also by adding a new line that ventures into the previously blocked off Falcon Sea. That we'll get into later. Returning to the main menu, the last thing we have to see is driver profiles in the top left. Nobody uses that shit though. Let's load into the map then, shall we? Immediately, we're asked where on the map we'd like to load. I chose Betriebshof Spandau, as that's the local bus depot. I clicked OK, and just like that, we were in. Is what I would say if the game didn't take nearly 6 fucking minutes to load. My PC isn't bad either. A Core i9, 32GB RAM, and a 2070 Super should be able to run this 2013 German ransomware without problems, but apparently not. When you look at the game's Steam page, it only requires 2 gigs of RAM to run. It's slowly starting to make sense. Now that we're finally in the game, it's not exactly clear what we're supposed to do apart from observe the T-posing pedestrians in the background. Now, I'm not going to pretend like I have no idea how to play the game because I've been playing since it came out in 2013, but to a newcomer, it can be pretty overwhelming. Luckily, there are a bunch of in-game tutorials. Oh, wait, a whole new section just for the tutorials? OMSI 2's tutorials are certainly interesting to say the least. When you click the tutorial button, a list of 4 tutorials, gradually increasing in difficulty, will appear on screen, and their descriptions aren't anything to write home about. Do you have understood the game and know how to drive? Oh, this game is hilarious. So we didn't have too much luck with the first tutorial. Maybe the second one will be better. This tutorial focused on teaching you how to actually drive the bus. Loading in, we're immediately met with a scene that has some creepypasta potential. The description for this one is actually very funny. So you have registered for the driving lesson with Driving School Scratch in Grundorf. You will enjoy driving a bus very much. You will take much pleasure in bus driving. Okay then. The first thing this tutorial asks us to do is spawn a new bus. There's nothing overly difficult about that. Once that's done, we familiarize ourselves with the function of switching to other nearby buses and even make an AI colleague drive one itself. Kind of scary, but okay. Returning to our main bus, we begin learning the cockpit functions. We're told the exact order in which we're supposed to press the buttons to start the bus, but it's just a clusterfuck of numbers that you can barely understand. Who designed this shit, and more importantly, who approved it? Now we turn our attention to the air pressure meter. This is important to pay attention to since key functions, such as the brakes, function properly only when there's enough air pressure. Please use the brake by pressing num2, the game says. Slight problem, however. I only have a 60% keyboard, so now this tutorial is bricked as well. I guess this one's kinda my fault. I'll keep the third tutorial short. It asks us to press F5 through F7 respectively to change the numbers seen on the bus. If you guessed that absolutely nothing happened when I pressed those buttons, you'd be correct. Incredible. I tried to load the next tutorial directly in the game for convenience, right? Apparently I'm not allowed to. In the fourth and final tutorial, I actually started making decent progress until the game just fucking froze. Yeah, I've had enough of these tutorials. If you're a genuine newcomer to this game and want to learn how to play, good luck. Now that we're done with the tutorials and know everything there is to this game, we could finally be a bus driver. I loaded into U-Ruhleben because it was one of the major bus stations in the game and immediately got rid of all the other buses. Nobody will be stealing my passengers. Of all the buses we could spawn, I decided to spawn the Bendy bus first. Now, regarding the passengers, there is a ticket selling function. However, I've set it to simplified because I have no idea how to speak German or count money. The simplified version comes with keyboard shortcuts to automatically give change, receive change, or give the passenger their ticket. While looking for them, I noticed a camera that I had genuinely never seen before, the Eco Perspective. So, I pressed F11 and was immediately sent to the stratosphere. That camera clearly doesn't work, so I pressed F1 to return to the cockpit view. This game is fucking brilliant. I tried to place my bus back at the bus station, but it just fell through the ground immediately. Now, looking back, I could have easily just removed my bus entirely and spawned a new one, but I don't know why I wasn't thinking of it at the time. I tried to load a new game as well, but it wouldn't let me for some reason. What I'm confused about is why you're able to load a new game if it doesn't even work. The same thing happened in the tutorial as well. A quick Ctrl-Alt-Delete later, we were back in business. For this run, we would be doing line 130, which runs from U-Ruhleben to Nervenklinik. I set my bus's display and then enabled waypoints. These waypoints are one of the game's only good features as they tell you exactly where to go. Once the time came, I rolled up and picked up all my passengers. A few of them wanted tickets, but the rest of them just filed in like lifeless zombies. And just like that, we were off to our next stop. Now, I won't go through every single stop since that would be incredibly boring. However, I will mention things like the fact that the AI prefers to brake check you every time it changes lanes. For a game that proudly boasts its intelligent AI traffic, this is quite shocking, yet still far from the worst we'll see today. You do have the option to disable AI traffic collisions, but I've left them in. Picking up passengers until I wasn't. Eventually, I came across a huge traffic jam, but this wasn't just any traffic jam, it was an OMSI-2 traffic jam. I mean, how does this even happen, and why does it always happen at the same intersection? The cars started slowly sorting themselves out, but not fast enough because the game suddenly got rid of them all. Okay, one note, if the game has a feature to remove traffic cars that stayed still for too long, then the developers are clearly aware of the issue. So instead of fixing the major underlying problem in the game, they just put a band-aid on it and then advertise their traffic as realistic? Jeez, man. With all the shenanigans, the next bus had caught up to me, and I was shaking in my boots more than if it was Max Verstappen I was seeing in my rearview mirrors. Eventually, I came to my next bus stop, but apparently it wasn't on the schedule, and the bus behind overtook me. Now, I couldn't have that.